One of them is really feeling like hard work will pay off and believing that staying loyal, and if they just put their heads down and work hard,
Hmm.
someone will notice and that will
Oh,
result in
yeah.
them getting promoted.
Yeah. In today's career environment, we all have to be our own biggest advocates.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Rachel, great to see you again. Thank you for taking the time to do this call.
Thank you so much, Grant. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Absolutely. So I think your story and a lot of the insight you offer can really resonate with a lot of hardworking women. Can you introduce yourself and share a little bit of your career journey?
Of course. I'm Rachel. I am now a coach for women working in tech, and I help them build thriving careers without sacrificing their well-being.
Mhm.
But I was not always a coach. I actually pivoted my career several times. First, moving to Singapore, working in financial services, and then I pivoted into tech, and then I moved to Australia as well. So I spent the last 10 years working in enterprise sales. And now I'm a coach for helping women, build thriving careers.
Love that. Love that. So you said financial services and then you mentioned enterprise sales. Those can be some fields
Yes,
that are traditionally maybe a little bit more male than
that's right. That's right.
so whether it's in your fields or just with the women you coach, what do you feel are the unique challenges for women in the workplace? What are some of the things that you experienced in your corporate career?
Well, that's a great question, Grant. There are a number of unique challenges that women face in
Hmm.
tech careers. One of those is, really feeling like they lack the role model that they look up to or they can relate to.
Mm,
So a lot of the
hmm.
times when women come to me, one of the sources of stress is feeling like they have to put on this mask to look like everything is under control,
Hmm.
and yet they are very stressed or suffering from workplace related issues, yet they have no one to be able to confide in or seek help. And so
Mm,
that really leads to high levels of stress, and not just on their well-being, but also it really impacts their performance. So not
sure,
feeling
sure.
like they have, somebody to seek help with through mentors or sponsors. And, seeking mentors can be very hard for women working in tech. It's easier said than done. And, another thing that they experience is feeling like an outsider. So as a result of
Hmm.
working in
Hmm.
largely male-dominated environments,
Hmm.
feeling like they don't belong. That's another issue that I often encounter with women who
Hmm.
come to
Hmm.
work with me. And then the third is imposter syndrome. So, so many
Hmm.
women struggle with feeling like an imposter, and the ability to then advocate for themselves, raising their visibility and profile internally that helps them, advance their careers can be a very difficult area as well.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I definitely see that a lot. I think in today's career environment, we all have to be our own biggest advocates.
That's right.
And that's awesome that you're encouraging your clients to do that more. So when women are feeling this stress, they're feeling the pressure, what are some things that you think get them stuck? Maybe some mistaken beliefs they might have, some things they're not doing that they could do. What are the root causes of them feeling stuck and not sure how to progress in their careers?
One of them is really feeling like hard work will pay off and believing that staying loyal, and if they just put their heads down and work hard,
Hmm.
someone will notice and that will
Oh,
result in
yeah.
them getting promoted.
Yeah.
And so this is a very common thing. And yet, while they're struggling with confidence or, not being able to advocate themselves, those two things kind of go hand in hand and they really feel
Hmm.
stuck.
Hmm.
And along the way, they can really start to feel, undervalued. They're putting in so much hard work yet not being noticed.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that can be, um, very difficult place to be in. And
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
reason why they feel stuck is the fear of being perceived in certain ways, so what other people may think if they were to advocate for themselves, or if they were to, be seen promoting their work, um, or simply fear of failure, fear of the
Hmm.
unknown.
Hmm.
That can also hold many women back as well. So, um, I think we've seen stats where women wait until they're 100% ticking all of the boxes before they apply for a
Oh
new
yeah.
role.
Yeah.
And so people hold themselves back more than they should.
Hmm. Hmm. I've heard and seen a lot of what you're talking about in my own clients. Yeah, I think that belief that if I just work hard enough, someone will notice me. It would be amazing if the
Yeah.
world was like that, but
Yeah,
opportunities, they tend to go to the people who are most visible.
that's right.
And maybe something you've experienced is I've had a lot of clients who they are working very hard. They just have their heads down, they're in a corner producing great results, but they're not getting the opportunities. It can cause them to second guess themselves and think, is my work actually good? Maybe I'm just not doing good enough. And that's the reason I've not gotten promoted. I've not had companies reach out to me. And in many cases, it's not your work itself, it's not your skills, it's how you're promoting yourself and your visibility. So I love
That's
that
right.
you're emphasizing that. So what can women do to be more visible, to get noticed more, and to be more seriously considered for the opportunities that they deserve?
I think seeking out help and seeking out people who have done the thing that you're dreaming about, so whether that be a particular
Hmm.
role or function they're in,
Hmm.
and often that starts to normalize sort of where you are at and what you need to get there, and the gaps between where you are now and where you need to be might actually be smaller than you might think. So if you can break it down into steps and understand how someone went from, being in position A to B, you can start to move from that
Hmm.
being, a
Hmm.
dream to actually taking action. And part of that is, we need accountability. Sometimes we can get really stuck in
Hmm.
that place of fear or holding us back. And so that's why commitment to yourself is good. But other times, when things get tough, that may not be enough. And that's where having,
Hmm.
mentors or coaches can be really helpful. Personally, it took me years to try to find a mentor that I felt that I could really connect with and could sort of push me in the right
Hmm.
direction.
Hmm.
And I relied solely on finding somebody within my company, but I wished I had ventured out earlier
Yeah,
outside.
yeah, absolutely. Because, like you said, maybe there aren't as many direct role models who have done exactly what you want to do as a working woman within your own company, especially if it's a little bit smaller. So,
Yes,
yeah, that's one of the reasons I love LinkedIn. There's so many possibilities for people you can meet, just like you and I met.
that's right.
Yeah, so speaking of mentorship, can you share more about how you coach women and your approach to helping them?
Yeah, so I coach women one-to-one, and I
Mhm.
also have a program called Common Confident Careers, and it's a
Mhm.
12-week program. And it starts with first understanding ourselves and our own stress levels. And because many
Mhm.
people that I work with carry high levels of stress that they've sort of accepted as the norm, sometimes it can
Mhm.
be a very uncomfortable place to kind of face, how we go about our day to day, how our levels of stress kind of manifest into our days. And so
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
understanding our own relationship with stress is where we start. And then we also look
Mhm.
at how we manage our energies, because that affects how we
Mhm.
show up at work, how we go about our day to day, and how we interact with our loved ones. And
Mhm.
so that's sort of the first phase that we go into. Second is we then get, serious about our career ambitions and goals, whether that
Mhm.
be getting promoted or, seeking a new role outside of their company, or sometimes it might be pivoting into new areas that they've not explored before. And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
that can be a very liberating process because many women have just gone from going from one job to another without really getting intentional about their why. And
Hmm. Hmm.
and during this time, I also bring in my meditation teaching as well to help women get into that really,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, reflective mode and state to help them really dig deep into areas that they've not had a chance to before. And
Hmm.
then the last step is execution. So that's then, helping them prep for interviews or the promotions that they're going for to help raise their visibility and self-advocacy internally. Or sometimes it's, like I said earlier, seeking out new opportunities that they have not considered before and help them with networking in a way that feels authentic and natural to them, because this is often an
Hmm.
area that women also struggle with.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. I like that word authentic when it comes to networking. You can stay true to yourself and still be proactive and build connections. That's great.
Absolutely.
Nice. So, in addition to your programs, where can people learn more from you?
LinkedIn is the only platform that I'm on. So you can find me on LinkedIn at Rachel Park.
Okay, perfect. I will put Rachel's link down below. And Rachel, this was not a question I sent you to prepare, but it's just something I thought of as we were talking. I hope that's okay. For men in male-dominated workplaces, how can they be more supportive
Oh, that's a great
of their
question.
female coworkers?
I think challenging your own biases is a very important one to start with because
Hmm.
it is the unintended and unintentional habits that we have developed that
Hmm.
can be the most dangerous because we are not aware. So self-awareness and understanding our own unintended biases that we carry. And one of the ways that you can really help is in a meeting setting, for example, if you see a woman speaking or where they're getting interrupted, you can really
Hmm.
help to stop that interrupter by focusing on the person who is speaking
Sure.
and getting the attention back to the speaker.
That's a great point. Yeah, yeah. Love that. I will keep that in mind. Okay, well, Rachel, thank you again for your time. I'll put all of Rachel's information below. If you are someone who's wanting to become more visible, if you're a woman in the workplace who's looking for that next opportunity, highly recommend at the very least reaching out to her. She's a great person to have in your network.
Thanks so much, Grant.